Quick 20-second intro. The following video you're going to watch is actually 45 minutes long, but I've had to break it down into 3 parts just because it's so long. So each video is 15 minutes long. I am going to upload all of these simultaneously, so if you're watching this tonight as part of the Halloween review series, you can watch all 3 back to back. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews. Bit of a different angle here today. You might recognise the background, but I'm kind of filming from a lower angle. I'm going to change that in a moment, but I just wanted to demonstrate for you. This is my film room. I kind of changed it a few months ago and did a video about how I stored all my Blu-rays and so on, so I've got them all on one shelf pretty much. This is an alcove in the background I used to use previously to have some of my films on, but now if we do a bit of a 180, you can see behind me, this is my collection of Blu-rays and DVDs, and that's my bald head there as well. Kind of goes from top to bottom. Got some various bits and pieces here. I recently had this put in as well, which is kind of a concession stand. Let's just kind of move around here. Sorry if it's a bit disorientating. So this thing's going to be in the way anyway, in case you're wondering when I'm filming this, what's all that other shit in the background, that's that. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So today I'm going to show you my horror film collection. That pretty much represents a few shelves here. That's pretty much my horror film collection anyway. The rest of it is just more movies and so on. So let's have a look anyway. So like I say, sorry about this thing being in the way during some of this. So what I'm going to do is start at the top and work my way across. So a lot of these films I've reviewed in the past, and some of these I might be reviewing in future Halloween specials on the channel. So let's just talk about what I've got, what format I've got it on, and maybe what I think of some of these films. This video might be quite long as well, so apologies, but I kind of like watching videos like this where people just talk about their own collection. It gets a bit kind of generic, but whatever. It's interesting all the same. So I've kind of put these in no specific order as such. I mean, you can sort of see some thematic things, like I've got like werewolf films and then vampire films, found footage, that kind of thing. You'll sort of pick up on certain themes, like we've got a lot of zombie films all here. But anyway, let's start at the beginning. So, Wolfen, that is a film I only saw for the first time this year. It's a pretty good film with Albert Finney, and it's quite an early film that James Horner did the music score to, and it's a really good score as well. James Horner did films like Aliens, Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan, loads of other films like Titanic and so on. Good film anyway. It's not so much werewolves, it's more about wolves themselves, and there's a lot of paranormal stuff going in there. I definitely recommend it. I believe that same year, that was when The Howling came out, which is probably a better known one. This was a film which was more about werewolves, directed by Joe Dante. Very good film director, did things like Gremlins and The Explorers and loads of others. He's got his stamp on this as well. Dick Miller, for example, kind of a staple in a lot of Joe Dante films. But again, this came out the same year as Wolfen, and also the same year as American Werewolf in London. I believe, was it, who was it now? Was it, I can't remember his name now, somebody Baker anyway, he did some of the werewolf effects. I believe he started working on The Howling, Rick Baker I think it was. He started working on The Howling, but then kind of left to go work on American Werewolf in London, so you can see some of the special effects, the transformation effects from man to werewolf, between the two, quite similar, but this one is better. And it's a better film as well, directed by John Landis, who did The Blues Brothers and a few other films. Very good film. I kind of got this from CX. There is, as of tomorrow as I'm recording this, so that would be Monday the 28th of October, I'm recording this on the Sunday, there is an Arrow Blu-ray of this coming out. I'll speak about Arrow in a moment, but an Arrow re-release, £25, a bit expensive, especially when you already own the film, but I might upgrade at some later point. Anyway, on to kind of vampire movies now. Fright Night, very good film, very similar to Lost Boys, excellent soundtrack. I managed to pick the soundtrack up on record earlier this year. This is a Eureka title, so you can get it in the UK. As you can see, it's got a UK certification on there. Very good quality as well. If you've not seen it, check it out. There is a sequel, a direct sequel, Fright Night 2. I'm kind of struggling to get this on Blu-ray in the UK, but I got this imported version. It does play without forced subtitles and in English. So if you're wanting to get this on Blu-ray, I would recommend this version. Haven't watched the remake yet. I picked it up very cheap. I've heard sort of mixed things about it, but I will be watching it at some point in the near future. Came out quite recently. Anton Yelchin is in this as well, who sadly passed away a few years ago in a really horrible accident. So quite a good cast in that film. Anyway. Life Force, this is an Arrow, Blu-ray Arrow, as I might be mentioning these, really good company that release films and really do a good work remastering these things. If you see this colour pattern at the bottom of any Blu-rays and obviously the logo, you'll know it's pretty much a sign of good quality. Life Force, sci-fi, kind of space-based sci-fi thing. Got a bit of a zombie theme going on to it as well, hence I've kind of got it amongst these vampire films. It's kind of zombie vampires in space, I guess, and they come to Earth. From Dusk Till Dawn trilogy, excellent trilogy. The first one is really good. 2 and 3 were straight to DVD at the time, but again, this is Blu-ray, obviously. Not as good as the first one. I mean, it shows that it's straight to video, but for straight to video films, very good. So I'd recommend all 3. Number 3 is a prequel. Number 2 is a sequel to the first one. Has Robert Patrick in it. Some recurring characters here and there. But if you haven't seen any of the Dusk Till Dawn films, definitely check them out. If you've only seen the first one, I'd consider watching 2 and 3. Paranormal Activity, I've done videos about these before. What is there to say? You've probably seen them all already. Number 4, I'm not a big fan of, but I own them all on Blu-ray. Found footage, yeah, you know the rest. Apollo 18, got this fairly cheap, as you can see. Pretty good found footage film based on the moon. If you haven't seen it, it came out a few years ago, like 2010-ish, I think. I liked it personally. I thought it was quite clever. Cloverfield, obviously, what is there to say about this film? You've probably seen it. It was quite a high-profile movie. Not a big fan of the sequels, to be honest. I think it was just cheap making these movies that were okay, but just tagging them into the Cloverfield universe because they were trying to get extra interest in them, because they clearly weren't written as Cloverfield movies. So I don't really like it when film franchises do that. Blair Witch Project, it's obviously the original on Blu-ray. You've got some pretty good extra features on this that aren't included on the DVD, but you've also got some extra features on the DVD that aren't on the Blu-ray, so hence I've got both. So that's the original film from 99, unbelievable, it came out 20 years ago. There's the sequel that came out in 2016. I was rather disappointed by it, but it was okay. I'd heard amazing things about it when it was coming out, but when I actually saw it, I was a bit let down. So I've got the DVD for Blair Witch Project. This is one that I had to rebuy because Topher nicked my original one. I think he nicked the second one as well from memory, so I had to rebuy those. Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, very rushed sequel, but I kind of like it in isolation. It's not great. I'm probably like this film more than anybody else, and even I say I don't really recommend it. So The Last Broadcast was kind of a precursor to the Blair Witch Project. I've done a video on this about 5 years ago as part of the Halloween retrospective series for Halloween season. So I'd give that a watch. Very similar to the Blair Witch Project. Ghost Watch again. We've done videos on this. Brand X Reviews. It was a BBC special in '92 on Halloween. Scared the shit out of me. Stephen Volk, the writer, is a pretty nice guy. He's on Facebook. I've chatted to him a few times on Messenger. I wouldn't say go out there and harass him with messages, but he was a nice guy. Like I say, he's chatted to me a little bit. And I think he might have seen my original Ghostwatch video. I think I might have sent him a link to it. For hardcore Ghostwatch fans, there was this Behind the Curtains documentary, real interesting to watch. If you go to, I think it's behindthecurtains.com or something like that, or a website with a similar name. I don't know if it still exists, but you could order this documentary about the special that aired in '92. Grave Encounters, again, found footage genre still. It's about a mental asylum. 1 and 2, straight to video, but not bad. I enjoyed them, to be fair. Give them a watch. Sinister 1 and 2, pretty good. I can't remember if these are Blumhouse films. I think they might have been. If you haven't seen them, they're okay. The second one's not as good as the first one, and a lot of people don't even like the first one. I personally thought it was decent, but not the best. Insidious 1 to 4. I haven't seen the fourth one yet. I bought it a while ago, just haven't got around to watching it. You see, it's still in shrink wrap. I like the first 2. The third one was okay. I've heard mixed things about the fourth one, so I've not been in a rush to watch it, but there you go. The Conjuring 1 and 2, I quite like those films. Well, I really like them, to be honest. I haven't watched any of the spin-offs like Annabelle or The Nun. I didn't like the look of them, to be honest, but I might get around to watching those. But The Conjuring 1 and 2, some of the best horror films that have come out in recent times, classic horror films, haunted house kind of stuff. The second one, obviously, is about Enfield Poltergeist, something along those lines. So, yeah, give it a watch. Did a review of that about 3 years ago on the channel, so... the Purge movies, it's debatable as to whether those are horror films. Some people debate as to whether they're any good or not. I personally really like them. Give them a watch once a year. Got them on 4K as well. I liked them that much. The series, for some reason, you can't seem to get on Blu-ray in the UK. You can only get it on DVD, although you can get an import of it, but it's quite expensive. I quite like the TV series. I think because the movies aren't amazing production quality, it doesn't feel like that much of a leap backwards with The Purge. Unlike TV shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where you're going from Marvel movies to a TV show, it feels like a big decline in quality, whereas The Purge, the movies themselves are quite low budget, so having a TV series canon with it works. So there's the Belko Experiment, which again, I can't remember if that's Blumhouse or not, but I think it was, what's his name, James Gunn wrote it, I think, who did Guardians of the Galaxy. It's about a lot of people in a big building in America, big corporate building, all the doors and windows get locked, people get stuck in there and have to start killing each other, otherwise more people are going to die. Kind of weird concept. Check out the trailer. I personally thought the film was okay. Get Out, that was a good film. That's a Blumhouse movie. It was very successful, so you probably already know about it, so I won't say too much. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch, definitely, because that was a really good film. Unfriended, and again, it's not found footage, but it's to do with talking on chat on Skype and so on. Well, literally on Skype, I think. Pretty decent if you like that kind of thing. It's either going to work for you or it's not. I personally liked it. And the sequel, which again you can't seem to get on Blu-ray in the UK, not easily anyway. But both films, I think they're unconnected, but they have the similar premises basically. Give them a watch anyway. Again, Blumhouse films. Another Blumhouse one, The Gift. Not so much a horror film, more of a psychological thriller, but I put it in that section. Got Jason Bateman, Rebecca Hall, and Joel Edgerton. Joel Edgerton's very good in this as well, and there's a bit of a twist at the end, so give that a watch. Truth or Dare. Some people hate this. Another Blumhouse one. A bit silly. You can kind of guess from the title how that works. Playing games, and people that don't play the games get killed, or maybe if they do play the games, they get killed as well. But it's okay. Happy Death Day, really good film, definitely enjoyed that. Haven't bought the second one yet, but it still feels fairly fresh in my memory from when I saw it at the cinema, but I will be picking it up when I get a chance to. The Gate, pretty good film from the 80s, starring Stephen Dorff when he was very young. This is a film that's kind of aimed at kids, weirdly enough, but it's pretty scary, and it's a 15 certificate, but I think it was aimed at a younger audience, but definitely a good one, some really good special effects in there as well for sort of mid-80s. Poltergeist 1, 2 and 3. The third one I would say maybe give a miss, but the first two are very good. Definitely give those a watch. The remake I wasn't a big fan of, but it kind of introduced some new elements to it, but I don't own it anyway. Sunshine, kind of a sci-fi horror thriller in space, directed by Danny Boyle. Very good cast as well. Stephen King's It. What is it to say? I'm sure you've seen it already. Awesome. It Chapter 1. Again, very good, very successful. You probably already know all about that, so whatever. Pet Sematary I only saw for the first time quite recently, and I really liked it, to be fair. I'm going to give the other one a watch. You can get this on 4K, but unfortunately it's quite expensive, and this version is quite good to say it's a Blu-ray, so I'm not too desperate to upgrade just yet, but I probably will. Sleepwalkers I got on DVD. Very good Stephen King film, although some people hated it. About vampires. Probably should be at the other end of the shelf, really, but because that's where my vampire films are. But yeah, I like this one personally. It feels a bit straight to DVD or for TV, but I think it did come out at cinema. I've struggled to get this on Blu-ray, which is why I've got it on DVD. The Stand, another Stephen King one. It's about 6 hours long, something like that. Kind of a mini-series. I think this has just been released recently on Blu-ray, so I don't know, I might upgrade at some point. The Lost Boys, if you haven't seen this, seriously, give it a watch, it's awesome. Another vampire movie. Again, probably should move that to that end of the shelf where the vampire films are. Tremors, we talked about that a couple of days ago. Check that out on the channel. That's the box set, numbers 1 to 6. Gremlins recently came out in 4K, but I haven't got that yet, so I've just got this Blu-ray for now. Gremlins 2, which is part of this Platinum Collection, which I got from HMV. I don't know if you can see this in the darkness now. Good film, directed by Joe Dante, just like the first one. Kind of creative where they go with the direction of that. Critters box set 1 to 4. As you can see, I got this very cheap from CEX. Pretty good. The first 2 are very good. 3 and 4 are a bit ropey. But yeah, if you haven't seen those, check them out. There was a 5th film that came out this year as well, Critters Attack. Not great, but it was just good to see the creatures come back again and do a recent movie on this anyway, and they introduced some new kind of elements to it. So yeah, I'd suggest give it a watch. It was okay. Scanners, which is a David Cronenberg movie. This is a steelbook. If you haven't seen that, I find that hard to believe. If you haven't though, check it out. Kind of get into the corner now. If I can do this around all this. Videodrome, another David Cronenberg one, very good. With James Woods. It's struggling to get this out now because I've got all this stuff in the way, but The Fly on Blu-ray, you can get this you can get the full box set with all the other originals and the sequel to this on Blu-ray, but it's quite expensive, so I just got the first one on Blu-ray and I got the others in this box set here, which I'm kind of struggling to get out with all this stuff here. So again, like I said at the beginning of the video, sorry about all this. I think because I've rambled on for quite a bit there, I will call this a day and do another part of this video and edit it separately. So that's part 1 anyway. Part 2 will be up shortly.